We all have strengths. Is it true or false? Watch this video to find out. And let's listen to our speaker, Miss Vicki Cabrera, as she explains to us the importance of knowing one's strengths and building self-confidence, and see if it changes your mind. Please do help us reach out to more people by sharing this video and subscribing to our YouTube channel to get the latest updates.
It's important to remember that we all have strengths. And recognizing your strengths and focusing on them more, as well as using them more on a regular basis, will also help you to build confidence. And as a bonus, it also has other benefits because research has shown that knowing and using more of your strengths is also good for your well-being, as well as your performance in school or at work. Research in positive psychology has found that focusing on your strengths has a lot of benefits. It can help people lead happier, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. So the goal is to really, get to know your strengths and also to find ways that you can capitalize on your strengths as much as possible, because your power and your confidence really lies in your strengths. So I'm going to give you some tips for how you can connect with your strengths, which will help you build more confidence. So the first step is actually to identify what your strengths are. So how do you recognize a strength? So there's actually been research on this area, and that can help you to identify what your strengths are. There are actually several things that you will experience when you are using one of your strengths. First, it feels very natural and easy because it's an innate capacity that you have within you. It's something that's naturally within you, and so it just feels natural. It also tends to be something that you're good at. It feels enjoyable, it's something you really enjoy doing, and it also feels energizing. There are also many different types of strengths that I'm going to highlight, 2 types of them for you today. So the first type is your talents. This is what usually comes to mind when people think about strengths. It's also the type of strength that people tend to focus on in school and work. So these are the innate abilities and skills that you have that are usually related to performance or towards achieving some type of goal. They're usually things that interest you, you're naturally good at doing them, and you excel at them. An example of a talent might be communication, being a good writer. But there is another type of strength based on positive psychology that you may not be as familiar with, and that is called character strengths. So this is a different type of strength that is also within you, and they complement your talents. So character strengths are the positive parts of your personality that influence how you think, feel, and behave. They make up what we think of as our character, basically part of the way that we describe ourselves. And psychologists have actually identified 24 character strengths. And researchers have found that every person has the ability to express all 24 of these strengths. In fact, you may even recognize each of these in yourself. But there are some character strengths that tend to come more easily and naturally to you than others. So knowing which of these character strengths are your top strengths will really help you to understand who you are at your best. And there are 2 ways that you can use to identify your strength. The first is to ask questions, and the second is to take an assessment. So if you want to identify your strengths, I think one of the simplest ways to do this is to ask questions. And you can actually start by asking yourself questions. I believe that you probably already have a pretty good idea of what your strengths are. So I recommend taking just some time for some self-reflection. Give yourself some space to think and to write down your answers to these questions. What are your strengths? Try to think of what are the talents, the skills, and positive qualities that you think you have. Another thing that you can ask yourself is the question I asked earlier, which is, what do you enjoy doing that you're good at? You can actually start identifying your strengths just by thinking about the things that you love to do, the things that feel naturally and easy to you, that energize you, thinking about the areas that you excel. Another thing that you can do is that you can also talk to people who know you well and ask them questions as well. And the question that you can ask them is, what do they see as your strengths? Sometimes getting the perspectives of others can be really helpful because sometimes they can see things within us. They can see positive qualities that we don't necessarily see in ourselves. So another area or another way that you can identify your strengths is to maybe approach a family member or a friend that you trust and simply ask them, what do they think your strengths are?
Hi there! Did you like this video? Follow for more tips.